All right, but yeah, let's watch the Vrchat ERP problem.
While it's nothing new, it's been in online games for decades, and it's one of the main parts of VR chat. In some VR chat worlds, there are private booths people can go to.
Yeah, I got you.
This? See this whole doing out. What the fuck is this?
And then she started barking. Now you know me, I'm a freak ass nigga, so I had no other choice but to return the bark.
Any kid getting on this game is immediately assaulted by people doing lap dances, making out in the corner, and other 18+ activities no little goofer should be looking at.
If you can't, oh my god, all right.
She types.
Okay, just stop!
So it's that time again, another VR chat video. We have indeed talked a lot about VR chat on this channel. We've talked about its culture, the many activities that people usually partake of on the platform. Personally, I still don't understand the sitting in front of a mirror thing for hours. Like, is this some form of exposure therapy so you can eventually look at yourself in the mirror? But we also delved into some of the stereotypes VR chat is known for. However, there's been one topic and one stereotype.
Okay, VR chat is fucking scary to me because like literally whenever I got on the game to like hang out with friends or whatever, it was fun, yeah, but I feel like at some point I just sort of like felt like I was wasting my time playing it because you're not doing anything, you're just socializing and that's it. I mean, is it fun? Yeah, but like if you let it, like if you spend like all day and all night on it, it just gets I can't explain it. It like I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a streamer that like I could, you know, pull myself away from it. But it has this addicting feeling. It's really weird. It's oh god. But I just know that anyone on that game who like plays it like 24/7, they're really fake as fuck. They're not real people. They're two-faced. So like literally Gooner art. What do you mean Gooner art?
Multiple times but never really gone into, and it has been on my list for things to talk about for a while, just like the VR chat bar problem. That's probably next video. And this topic or activity itself is probably one of the main reasons why VR chat and its player base have such a negative reputation.
Only? I mean, maybe. Yeah, that could be an issue.
As stereotypically it's said most players of
But it's
VR
like
chat,
it's you don't feel anything though. It's like I mean, yes, is there like, you know, you have headset and hands and everything? Yes, but like literally you don't feel anything. It's literally just the same as just you're just alone. So I mean your mind can trick you that there's someone there, but really there's no one there. So it's kind of just I don't know. You could be doing something more productive than VR chat. Sure, hanging out was fun, but you can also stream. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's how I viewed it. Like I viewed it as like I shouldn't be playing this game all the time because like I could be doing something else more productive. My sort of view, I guess right now, I guess because I became a streamer is if I'm not streaming. If I'm not streaming, why do these things? I guess.
take part in this so-called heinous activity, and it's said to occur very frequently on the platform, or so the stereotype goes. But what is this degenerate activity that has supposedly taken over and tainted the reputation of the
No, I mean,
well, if you're
you know, it's fine. Hold on.
And can't read the title of this video, it is ERP, or Erotic Roleplay, which for those of you that don't know, in the context of VR chat, it's when two or more individuals perform NSFW activities on the platform, which basically boils down to touching the pixels of another person's avatar, where even in some cases, the participants claim to actually feel the activities occurring through phantom sense, or phantom pain.
Because I have phantom pain!
Yes, while some people
Oh, dude. Oh man, the phantom pain is like when you have to get off at this point, bro. Like, oh my god. Okay, the weird thing is that like I don't get how people feel it in like their arm and shit. When I used to play Vrchat a lot, I used to feel something in my nose, like on the tip of my nose, but that's it. That's literally it. There's nothing else I would ever like feel on my body or anything. It was just so, it was so weird. It was like, yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, I should play Vrchat because I did get a full model, a full body model, a full 3D model of this model for Vrchat, and I recently got full body, but I just never, I never used it, essentially. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's so weird how it's like I don't really have anyone to play Vrchat anymore. Like I don't go on it. I just, you know, I don't have any reason to go on it, essentially. She had Phantom Touch like everywhere.
People 10 to 20 years ago would have thought by this time we would have flying cars, maybe cured cancer, finally got a sequel to Titanfall 2 that most would sacrifice their firstborn for, and maybe...
Are you challenging me? Yes.
To that one obscure anime that had great characters, a great concept, and storyline just for it to be left on a cliffhanger, never to be continued again. Please, for the love of God, I'm begging you, please just give me another
I used to play. I should play it again.
Season of what was essentially medieval peasants being blasted by an M1 Abrams. But whilst we haven't remotely achieved anything on that list, instead, in the current day, we now have the
Hey, no way,
capability
Exile,
to
I
boon
can't.
on virtual reality. I swear we must be in the wrong timeline. But yes, VRChat is mainly infamously known for the many people on the platform that participate in NSFW activities. It's like the #1 thing people outside of the VRChat community first think of when VRChat is brought up.
Okay,
All that
good
are the
call.
deviants of society that take the game way too seriously, most commonly seen in those VRChat trolling videos.
Oh, I guess I'm weird for wearing a fursona. I guess it's also weird that I have a fucking litter box right beside me, is it?
Yes, 100%.
Shut the fuck up.
But one of the main reasons this activity is somewhat synonymous with VRChat is because the NSFW side of VRChat isn't exactly hidden. There are public groups on the platform
Slime just found Ember as a writer. Interesting.
advertising it that most of the time anyone can join, but admittedly some are just there for a joke. There's a variety of both public and private avatars made with this in mind, with multiple toggles and even systems that assist in the process. There's entire worlds dedicated to it, with even some of the most popular public worlds having private rooms for some reason, where God only knows what's happening in there. Sometimes people don't even use the private rooms, and just do it in the middle of a public instance with a bunch of unknowing strangers around them, with their most popular spot being the Black Cat bathroom, where I'm pretty sure if you went in there with a black light, you would essentially just flashbang yourself. There are also VRChat events specifically for ERP. There are dating apps just for VR that some people use.
Like, okay, like this is what I never got, right? Like Lily having a goddamn VRChat dating app. That is stupid. I'm sorry, that is so fucking stupid. You're literally obsessed with the avatar and maybe the voice, and that's it. Like that, it doesn't equate. Oh my god, it just hurts my head. Like, am I wrong? It just seems really weird to me that you'd fall in love with an avatar, essentially. I will be getting one. I will buy all others. Oh my god, Ras, holy shit, dude. But yeah, I really... tell me about a friend I mentioned before. He met his ex on VRChat. They had a huge falling out. Yeah, I feel like if... Okay, I feel like online relationships can work, right? But if it's solely based off VRChat, like if you play no other games but VRChat, I feel like it's just destined to fail, essentially. It's like the whole, I don't know, dude. People are really two-faced on VRChat. It's kind of, fucking nutty, essentially. People have gotten together from streamers chat. Yeah, but like, I mean, that's fine. I mean, you know, there's a connection there, but again, if you guys play solo, like, if you guys date and you only play VR chat together, I feel like it's gonna be rough because, like, literally, some people fall in love on like a drop of a dime. It's so fucking fast. Two-faced on the internet as a whole, yeah. So yeah, you guys just gotta be careful. Hello, Reluctant, welcome in.
Used for things like one-night stands within the game. There's a whole monetized industry where people get paid by other people to do it. There are
Okay, this is actually retarded. Like, okay, I've seen these, but like, do people actually get paid for this? Like, bro, it's not even real. Yes? Okay, how much? Have you guys ever met anyone in this game who actually gets like a substantial, they get big butt? Are you shitting me? How much? Like, I don't. They get thousands? Like, okay, like how fast though? Like per week? Per month? This is stupid. This is fucking retarded, dude. Oh man. 12K per. Oh god, why am I streaming? Why am I just like, why am I doing this? If like people can earn like 12K per month by doing just the most stupid shit I've ever goddamn seen in my life, dude. Like, holy fucking shit. 12K per month, that is goddamn insane. It's on par with OnlyFans. They pull like 10K per stream on OnlyFans. Honestly, just needs retooling. Ain't no fucking way, dude. I can't. But honestly, though, I don't know. I value like hard work, right? If you're a VTuber, if you're like a content creator, yeah, that's work. That's a lot of work. And there, indeed, yeah, no, I bet there's so many people on Vrchat that use like voice changers and shit. Like, it's so fucking weird over there.
where people get paid by
You guys
other
are
people
so
to
sweet.
do it. There are bespoke devices that go on your parts that can link to your avatar and respond based on what is happening to you in-game. And even more recently, popular streamers have been exploring this part of VR chat, like Jinxie and Jason the Ween.
I already said mine, but I feel like being degraded in like any way is super hot to me. That's why I really like the idea of getting pissed on.
What are you fucking doing?
You've been such a dirty boy.
Time out. What is going on? This was live on Twitch? Is bro about to take a kick deal or what? Nah, I'm good. Yo, I'm good, bro.
However, we'll talk more about some of those things in depth a bit
God.
later. But where did ERP come from, and how did it get to the point where now it's supposedly all over VR chat?
7-foot jobs. 7-foot jobs is all I can spare to give you. Here I am, offering you my precious feet.
So ERP isn't something that's unique to VRChat, it actually existed way before VRChat was even a thing. It's been around for a while. It was present in the early 2000s, with ancient games like RuneScape, the game that is now a retirement home known as World of Warcraft, and even Habbo Hotel. People in these games would usually perform this activity in text chat.
I'll pay for the damage. I don't like
it to text messages, which most times probably went something like asterisk, nuts in you, asterisk. So if you thought people gooning with AI chatbots were bad, these people existed more than an entire decade before them. But obviously at that time, participants were only limited to text-based actions unless you implemented third-party things like mods, or just got really creative with the tools given to you in-game. However, there were games that would eventually come out that would facilitate these activities more effectively and without the need for any third-party features to be implemented. A key example of this was with Second Life, a platform mainly ran...
God, dude. See, I was never, like, I've seen the meme videos about this game. Like, this game was, like, the game before Vrchat, but again, I've never, like, played any of this shit.
by the community, and it's considered either the distant cousin or the predecessor to VRChat. In fact, a large amount of Second Life players moved over to VRChat when it became more popular, because the two did have quite a lot of similarities, especially when it came to how they functioned and how the platforms mainly ran off community creations. And despite Second Life primarily being a desktop game, it also had somewhat of a big ERP and NSFW scene. They had clubs, avatars that could undress, animations for the actions, and a lot of community-made features for it and things related to it, which nowadays in one form or another can be found in VRChat. And I think you could argue that the VRChat community may have gotten some inspiration from Second Life when it came to this, but VRChat, probably because it was newer, had better VR support and has more people playing it, arguably took these ideas a step further. VRChat would be released in 2013, but would only become popular in later years through things like it finally being available on Steam and trends like the Uganda Knuckles in 2018.
You don't know the way.
Yes, I do.
You know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
Now around this time when it saw its first spike in popularity, there was already some elements of ERP within the game, because at this point you're already able to create and upload your own avatars to the platform, so of course some people started putting genitals on their avatars. Because of course they did. This is like the opposite of the internet dead theory, I guess, because no AI would think to do this. But because it was still early days, there was no toggles, meaning that if you had these extra limbs to say the least, they would just be hanging out there. There would be no way to hide them unless you unequipped that avatar. And there was also no such thing as DPS yet, which, no, it does not stand for damage per second. In VRChat it stands for something completely different, but I'll talk about that in a bit. Also around this time, most people only use these avatars for trolling because nobody would expect an anime girl with a 10-inch peni to be running around their instance back in those days. That's probably when the game was at its most wholesome. But in 2019, things took a bit of a turn. ERP and things surrounding it saw a sudden rise on the platform. People began talking about it more. NSFW avatars saw an increase, and worlds dedicated to it like dungeons with objects you could interact with began popping up. But admittedly, you had to seek these things out to find them. They weren't as widespread just yet. Well, not until late 2019 and early 2020 when we got the COVID arc of VRChat, where with everybody inside now due to the lockdowns, it led to a lot of people discovering VRChat and quickly becoming regular players. In fact, a majority of VRChat players nowadays started playing around this time and just never left. But with the rise in players, there was also a rise in adult activity on the platform. Public worlds where one could watch people pole dance and maybe request a personal dance became commonplace, especially since full body tracking became a thing. And within said worlds, we saw the first appearance of private rooms where people could get more private dances, to say the least. Streamers also began to flock to the platform and quickly got exposed to the culture of sorts.
May I have a sip, please?
Yeah.
Oh, but did you put your lips on there?
Yes.
Even better.
Let me thank you. Exactly. I appreciate a good face. I appreciate a good ahagawa face. You get to talk when it's your turn.
Is that fucking a sandpipe? More in-depth NSFW avatars also started to hit the platform. No longer did they just look like ripped models with parts hastily added on. People actually started putting real effort into them now, and a market for them was also developing. And eventually you could toggle the items on your avatar, meaning you didn't have to switch avatars if you had an NSFW on. A year later, the ERP community took a massive leap with the implementation of DPS, which, as I said earlier, does not stand for damage per second, but Dynamic Penetration System, which was developed in a way where it manipulated the lighting asset of an avatar so you were able to make your parts interact with the parts of another avatar, and you wouldn't just phase through them when you were doing the activity anymore.
Yeah, no, but they sell for big bucks. These sell like, oh my god, dude, you can make money so easily nowadays. I feel like
actually interact with each other. And an easy way to tell that somebody in your lobby had this on their avatar is if they had about 30 light assets on that avatar and they did not look like a fucking disco ball. These avatars with this capability would quickly spread throughout VRchat, where to this day it's quite easy to find at least half a lobby with an avatar that can do this. Also around this time, mods became a thing which were mainly used to increase performance or to assist those with disabilities playing the game, but there are also mods used for ERP. Like I mentioned in my previous video, there was a mod that allowed you to physically drag the avatars of other people around against their will, with things like a leash, but as said, people just usually ended up hanging each other in the middle of a public lobby.
oh, okay, that fucking Doki Doki meme got me, dude.
And in 2022, they would just outright ban mods with the implementation of easy anti-cheat, but people got around that, and now there's just standalone public worlds with this feature built in. Around 2022, the topic of ERP became a regularly discussed thing on the platform. There were now events, clubs...
Wait, I'm sorry, why would you... This has to be a meme, right? No one would actually post this, right? That's
thing on the platform. There were now events, clubs, people sold it, and entire Discord servers were dedicated to it, where people would post their bios, making sure to mention their height if they are anywhere close to 6 foot, and also all of their kinks, hoping to attract an ERP partner, who is probably just going to be a mute and a female avatar, who is most definitely a guy IRL.
Okay, yeah, literally, I feel like every mute on this game is literally just the guy. Literally, like, it's so weird to me. This game is so weird, bro. It's dude, like, I played this game for like months, and the shit I've seen, like, it sucks because it's so weird, yet I've had so many good memories on this game with people. I've never laughed so goddamn hard. So I don't know, it has its good and bad perks, I guess. Yeah, anyone who says mute, I'll automatically assume is a male. So I mean, because that's the case often than not.
You can lie to yourself saying that they're just mute because they're shy or they have advanced tonsillitis, that's why they can't speak. Sure, buddy. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Some people like a cake with a candle. You do you. Anyway, ERP was more popular than ever on the VRchat platform, and going past 2022, people outside the VRchat community started to associate it with the average VRchat player, probably due to clips like this.
Darling, trust me, nothing's impossible.
You sure about that?
Yes, I am, because I am noticing that your voice is slowly starting to soften.
How sure are you?
99% sure. And that 1% is the amount of water you'll have in your body after I finish fucking.
But overall, ERP wasn't this niche thing anymore like it was in previous years.
Oh,
yes,
God, dude. What is it with... Okay, can someone tell me, what is it with, like, furries in VRchat and being so goddamn weird, dude? I've seen so many, like, cringe videos on solely on furries in this game. And being weirdos, or being, like, really socially inept, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I really don't understand it.
Everywhere,
because they're furries,
yep. Hard to find now. Take one look at the VRchat groups tab and you can see a lot of groups for it. Or take one look at someone's bio and they may have something referring to it. Or even just look at their avatar and it may have a toggle or two for it. You could also see it becoming more apparent in the worlds themselves. Like, why does this world specifically need private rooms? Or why is there a cage in the corner of my cozy sleep world when there are no animal NPCs in this world whatsoever. Or even more concerning, why do the bathroom stalls have glory holes installed by default? And they never stop developing new things for this. Quite recently, SPS or super plug shaders became a thing, which you can probably guess what it's used for. You could also now interact with the clothes of other people's avatars directly. There was also now equipment for it, which also included shock collars, which could link to your avatar and activate depending on what was happening to it. A lot of the companies making them actually sponsor a lot of the ERP events happening in VRChat, probably because they know a lot of their customers are from VRChat. ERP and things related to it were common on the platform now, and as said, it's not exactly hidden. And I'm not going to get on my high horse, I know why people ERP. You may have a long distance significant other, you may be a bit lonely, or maybe you're a hornball that wants to be smothered to death by a 6-foot tall dragon girl with a bust size bigger than Mount Fuji. You do you. But with all that said, with this happening on the platform, of course it's caused quite a few problems to say the least.
That girl is a real fart queefer. Big rum, she had large doo-doo cheeks. Doo-doo cheeks.
Now the first problem isn't something that happens regularly, but it still happens, and it's something I talked about at the start of the video. Which is because ERP avatars are so common now, people often go into public lobbies, admittedly sometimes not knowing their parts are out. Sometimes there's even glitches where for you it can appear like you're fully clothed, but for others your 16-inch human abomination is scraping across the floorboards for everyone to see. So please, for the love of God, if you are going into a public world, maybe check yourself before you wreck yourself, or just switch to a non-ERP avatar just in case. However, on the other side, there are people that do this on purpose, and it's not uncommon to hear about, with most of the stories usually sourced from the Black Cat bathroom, where people go into the stalls and just start ERPing with their mics on full blast. In public. In an instance that is considered to be one of the most popular places to visit, where a lot of kids are. But most of the time this is rare, and the people doing it end up getting kicked either by the moderators or a vote to kick. However, it is still something that occasionally happens. The next problem I'm going to talk about is quite obvious, and it's the fact that ERP and things related to it are very common on the platform, despite VRChat still being marked as a 13+ game, and there are a lot of kids on the platform. And from my knowledge, I don't know if VRChat have pushed back against this at all. I mean, DPS has been in the game for years and there was nothing ever done about it. Now, first of all, I think VRChat should be at least 18+ with everything there is on the platform. But when it came to ERP, I previously held the opinion as long as people are doing it in either 18+ verified lobbies or private instances, both with consenting adults, and nobody's doing it in public lobbies, I didn't really have any quarrels with it. Once again, VRChat aren't doing anything about it, and people have shown they will stop at nothing to do it. I mean, have you seen the things they have created for it? So I didn't think there was any way to outright stop it unless VRChat wanted to heavily control the uploading of avatars and worlds, which they will never do. But recently that opinion changed slightly after listening to 2 people master debating the topic in a VC. Just for context, I was alt-tabbed being absolutely railed by the gods of RNG and Risk of Rain, so this conversation isn't verbatim of what both parties said. But on one side there was a veteran VRChat player whose opinion was somewhat similar to my own at the time. They didn't really care what VRChat players did as long as they're in a private world and above the age of 18. But they did add that VRChat for a while has been an adult game. These things were happening.
Wait, in 2020 I watched these Chinese people get married in VRChat. It was weird. I mean, I feel like it's not, you know, like, I mean, I remember there used to be like marriages in like MMOs and everything. You know, it's not that far-fetched, I guess. But I feel like the weirdest marriage was probably the dude that married a Hatsune Miku app or something. Like, actually, like in real life. Like, he married this app. Yeah, and it's just so, wow. Like, damn, dude, I feel bad. So, we live in the modern age. I feel like nothing. I feel like in today's world, nothing is judged, but everything is judged. So it's literally just you do you. Just you live your life how you want and just be judgment free, I guess. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this, but
Years before VRchat was known for the stereotypes and problems it faces to this day. They also added that adults were here first, everything else just built up around it, like the influx of kids from things like the release of the Quest and now even the phone version of VRchat, making it more accessible than ever. The other party was someone with less hours in VRchat compared to the other person, and they didn't necessarily disagree with the point that adults and adult themes were there first. But they had an issue with the fact that even if this was true, why is VRchat still advertising itself as 13+? Why isn't it 18+ with all the adult themes that are common in the game? Yes, you have age verification and 18+ lobbies, but both parties somewhat agreed that did not solve the main issue, like it not getting rid of some of the themes within the worlds, and the fact that some groups doing NSFW activities didn't utilize the 18+ lobbies. At this point, both parties somewhat agreed that the game should not be 13+, it should be 18+, but there was still some contention about ERP happening in general on the platform in its current state, even if it was in a private lobby. But then the party again,
I feel like they would have known this for years. If you know they would do something. If they would do something by now, but because they know the majority of players are 18+, they kind of just like don't really do anything.
Against it made a really good point, and that is within the TOS of VRchat, it can be interpreted that VRchat themselves forbid these types of activities happening on the platform, even if it was in a private world, which also contradicted what it says in the community guidelines. Now at this point I had died in Risk of Rain due to a complete bullshit stunlock, and I was fully focused entirely on the conversation. Now the point was that this paragraph in the terms of service, although a bit vague, involves things such as ERP, or at least ERP avatars. And everyone in the call at the time agreed. If you took that at its face value, VRchat discourages this type of activity, even if you're in a private lobby, and it directly contradicts what they have in their community guidelines. This wasn't that person policing what adults should do, or kinks, or degenerate activities happening on the platform. This was them directly quoting something from their TOS saying that most things I've described in this video are disavowed by VRchat. Meaning if you are blowing the back out of your femboy buddy that insists they are not a femboy in a private world, and you reported them for getting their femboy back blown out in a private world, they should be banned. And apparently people did get banned for this at one point, allegedly due to VRchat being at risk of being removed from things like the App Store. There would be a ban with, and a problem where people, even if they were doing this in private lobbies with consent, they were getting outright banned just from one report.
Interesting. So it did happen.
Or if they
People are
weren't
getting
doing
banned.
anything at all and just had a NSFW avatar on, which then contradicts their user guidelines rules. It's very confusing. One rule says one thing, one rule says the opposite. Ultimately, this is the same point I've regurgitated multiple times. VRchat cannot choose if it's an adult game or a game for everyone, including kids. But I guess they are trying to make it work, but in my opinion, I don't think it's working well, especially when some argue that the NSFW part of it is baked into the platform at this point. I think they are eventually going to have to choose one or the other, or they're going to see the same issue Roblox is facing right now. If this game was 18+ and all of this was happening, I don't think it would be as much as a problem as it is now. But it's not. It's 13+. Hopefully not for long. But admittedly, it has been quite fun seeing streamers like Jinxie witnessing VRchat for the first time, and then quickly getting a reality check.
Good boy. Go and bark for me. Good boy.
What the fuck?
Good boy. Good boy. You're so good for mommy. Oh my good for mommy.
We gotta get our life together, bro. I think we go down there and just end this, bro.
Really? You don't want to
Bro, Muda, we just got spanked in a cage, bro. Like, I have limits, bro.
Oh my god.
So in conclusion, that was ERP, where it came from, how it started on VRChat, where it is to this day, and some of the problems with it. And if any
Interesting.
of you just started downloading the game after watching this, one, you need help, probably stop listening to that mommy ASMR in your free time.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to ask about. Like, why? I mean, like, is it just loneliness, or why are so many people nowadays into like ASMR shit? Like, I don't understand. It's a voice. It's just a voice. It's literally a voice. I feel like it's just, you know, it doesn't describe the person behind it. You can have like the best voice in the world, but as soon as you see the actual person behind it, it can either make or break your worldview about them. So I feel like people falling for like solely voice and like ASMR shit, it's weird. It's odd. It's just, dude, I just don't understand it. Like, literally, thanks to Astray, I will now be on Vrchat. No, dude, don't do it. Don't do it, man. I was on that shit for like months, right? With a friend group. And it ended terribly. Do not follow in my footsteps, please. Please do not follow my footsteps.